Hello everyone, welcome back to the Genomics Bootcamp and to the video series about the most important R commands for genomic analysis and general fun. This video is about the subsetting of datasets, namely if you need just some columns from your initial dataset, you can easily achieve this with the select command. To run this small script, you will need both tidyverse and Palmer penguins loaded. But let me show you what I mean by selecting on the columns. So if we run just the Palmer penguins command just straight away, so just to see that there is 8 columns actually in this data set. Now let's say that for some reason we only need the species, the island, and the body mass columns. We can easily achieve this by piping everything together and starting from the Palmer penguins or the penguins dataset, and then, so this is the pipe command, the and then command, we select only these 3 columns. You do not need to use any quotation mark, single or double. Tidyverse will recognize that these are actually the names of the columns in the data and will do the correct operation. So after we run this part, we indeed see that we have just the 3 required columns in our output. If you call up the help file of the select function, which you can the most easily do by clicking on it and pressing F1, so you will get here and you see that there is a lot more to learn about the select command. We will perhaps get to these as well, but when it comes to genomic analysis or for my personal use, really most of the time what I need is just select those few columns that I specify. Well, there is also an additional feature of the select command, and namely that it also sorts the columns according to your specification. So right now there is species, island, and body mass, but look what happens if I put the body mass into the first place, for example. So we need to, of course, divide them by a comma, and the last comma needs to be deleted. But when I rerun this, then we see that indeed the body mass is in the first place in the new dataset. This is often very handy because you don't need to implement yet another step to reorder the columns if a specific order of the columns is necessary for your follow-up analysis. Of course, if we don't want to have the data just on the screen, but we want to save it, we can do so by specifying a variable. I here specify in a very creative way a variable named TMP, which of course stands for temporary, and then hit Alt and the dash, which produces this neat arrow. And when we rerun this, now we have this little temporary data set in our global environment. Now it is also clickable, so if we want to check it out, we can do so. And we could be happy that we learned this very, very useful command that is selecting and subsetting the specific columns that we need. Perhaps a very short note at the very end. So this arrow structure, so this lower than and dash, was created by the shortcut Alt and the dash, or of course you can type it out as well, but also the equal sign is equivalent to it. But as I recon, this arrow is used more often. So I will advise you also just to learn that and use this arrow instead of the equal sign when you want to create new variables. For now, thank you for your time. Thank you for stopping by, and check out also the other videos on the most important R commands.